G'day YouTube, welcome to GJBricks. I'm Greg. Now today I want to answer a really important question, and that is, with the new powered up system, can you use two motors on one train? This is from my city at the moment. I have 4 carriages connected up to this. I'm considering adding a couple more just for, you know, giggles. But I was curious, can you run 2 motors on this? On the old powered up system, powered function system, correction, you used to be able to stack the connectors together to actually effectively build one long chain of power. On the new system, you're actually limited because it uses these ports that's on the hub. This is one of the smart hubs. They're like basically like telephone or network sockets on a home network or a home phone system. Which is, you know, you can't daisy chain it together yet. At least Lego hasn't released anything to do that with. Now, looking at the wiring diagrams for these, I don't think there's any reason you couldn't actually add some kind of daisy chaining to it. But this has an A and a B port. So what I want to try is putting an A and a B motor on this to see what happens. With the remote control itself, you actually have an A and a B. So I thought I'd test this because I couldn't actually find a definitive answer to this. I thought I'd give it a try and see what people, you know, it might be useful. For me, personally, I'm going to show you first of all the train running with the single motor, and then I'm going to put a second motor on it, and then I'm going to put a load of extra carriages on it to see how it copes with it. So in both tests, it will be single engine, multiple carriages, and then double engine, multiple carriages to see how it compares in terms of power and speed. Now, we all know the powered up motors are better than the power function motors. It's been shown in a few tests that they're more powerful. So let's give this a try. So first up, let's do the single motor on a long train. Alright, so first up, this is one motor on the train. This is, actually I've changed the layout on this, so it's got a few more curves in it and it starts on a curve. And I've actually realised this struggles a bit to get going now. So watch this with the single motor. You see it's really struggling to pull now because it's on these curves. I will confess I hadn't tested that before this video, which is a case in point as to what I'm about to try and demonstrate to you. So there we go, it's going round. You can see it's picking up speed on the straights without any problems. It just is struggling to get going. So let's bring it round. So that's our test case. So it's good once it's going, that's not a problem. But what we'll do is, we'll first of all test that this is possible with the 2 motors, and then we'll add them to this train and see what a difference it makes. Here's my super simple test setup. I've used the motor and battery pack from this train and just borrowed the one from my winter train, which is why I've got red wheels and black wheels. That can be fixed later on. So the first test here is, what happens if I try to use the app? Just wanted to show this one. There is a big problem here with the app, and that is that there is no way to tell the thing that there is a second motor. So what will happen is this will move, but it's dragging the motor, you see? It's not, it's actually trying to pull the motor, and the reason there is, if we go in close here, and we'll just close up here, when I turn this on, let's see if this will focus for us. There we go. Notice 2 sets of wheels, but only one moves. That's because it's got no way of controlling the B function here. So let's disable that one and turn that one off. So that's a fail there. I did have a look through because I'd read that they could do that, but there actually isn't an option to do the 2 motors in here. I looked in Create as well, and I can't see any way to actually set that up. So the Create's actually their new feature where you can go and program in features. You know, you can say go forward for 10 seconds, go left, those kind of things, but that doesn't work either. So what we'll do is we'll swap over to good old tried and tested remote control. There we go, so that's now paired. Now let's go forward. And same problem, we are dragging a set of wheels. See? But notice if we do this one, I can actually have both sets of wheels moving. Now, the problem here is they are both in the same direction. They are both going in opposite directions because the cables are here, so obviously the motors are going to be going like that. So let's just see what happens. Oh, the red motor wins. The red motor wins. But there's a handy dandy feature on this controller that is you can actually twist this around. So that means what you can now do is have both going in the same direction. I want to give this a try on the track. That's all you have to do though. Swivel that round, and then the only downside is you have to remember to do both buttons and stop, but which is not the most convenient thing, but it works. Obviously you've got to make sure you put the motors in the right direction, but yeah, that's working a treat. So let's put this back on the train and on the track and see what a difference that makes. Here we are, same train as before but with two motors. Let's see how this goes. And as you can see, straight away pulls a lot better out of the station. It does not like that first corner, I will say that. The one thing I am aware of though on this is how pushing the two buttons together, you have to try and keep them actually running in sync, which is not the easiest thing. So at the moment that's now running at speed 10. That's at full pelt going around the track. So that's pretty good. But let's see how it does when we put some extra carriages on it. Right, so here we are. For giggles, I've added in one extra passenger car and two of the cars from the winter train. Let's see how this goes. Straight away, that's pulling no problem off the line. It is struggling on that first corner still though. But I think overall, the pulling performance is better. Let's just stop that there. Okay, so this is a fairer test because now that's on the straight. Let's see. There we go, look at that, no problem at all. There's no junctions there. Alright, here's another test. So this is it with extra carriages. I've got one extra passenger car and two extra cars from the winter train added to this. Let's see how this does. So, oh, bit of a struggle at the beginning there, but I'm fairly certain one motor wouldn't have pulled it. Like I said, it really does not like this first corner coming through out of the station. So I'm going to have to change how that's laid out, which I had been thinking of doing anyway, so that's fine. Let's get it round to this first corner and see how it does. So here we go. This is a better test on the straight here. Right, so that's now straighter train. You can see that's a pretty long train. Let's see how it goes. Pulling out. Oh, look at that, no problem at all. Takes a bit of time to get up some speed, but once it does, there we go, there's the Christmas tree bopping along. Now what I would really like to do is, I was talking to some people who run the old powered up functions, power function stuff, and they were saying they actually run 4 motors on their trains. I would love to do that one, but there's no real way to do it at the moment because you can't connect up the motors that way. So hopefully Lego will come out with some way of doing it, and I know a few people have been playing with how the connections work on these powered up stuff, but you know, I mean that works pretty well. So I think I'm probably going to go with adding in the extra motors on these trains just to give them that bit of extra oomph. I think it's worth it, and I am going to adjust this. It's been interesting to see how much they all struggle with this first corner. It's quite interesting going straight into a corner like that, which is quite sharp. That's part of it. This is actually one of the GJBricks junctions here, which is why that's not quite a standard curve, which is why the gap here is actually quite tight. So what I'm actually going to do is move this over to this side and then move my whole bridge and everything across here, but that's a different story. Well, we're making that change in the future. So there you have it. You can indeed use 2 powered up motors with a single train. It's not the most elegant solution. I do not like having to push both buttons the same number of times to make it work. Hopefully Lego will add out or will release some cables to actually let you daisy chain like you could with the old ones. As I said, I don't see why they wouldn't, because it's a pretty simple system when you look at how the cabling's done. It's just a powered negative, positive, and a couple of other things that don't really matter in this case. Most of the smarts is in that battery box that has all the sensors in it. If you look at something like the 4x4 Technic, you can see how far that system can actually go, because it's got all the gyroscope and things like that in it as well, which is amazing. But for the train system, I think there is a bit of scope here for some improvements. So I might have a look at what people have been doing with the cables and see what I can figure out. But I think I'm going to try running 2 motors. I do want to find a better way of doing it though than this. I don't think this is the right way to do it. And I've lost having lights on the front if I wanted to have lights on it. So I think I'm going to change that one. I'm going to get a second motor and give it a try. Proper setup, proper motor so it looks right. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. If you've played with this, if you've had a try with doing this yourself and managed to figure out a better way of doing it, have you tried doing that with the 2 motors hooked up and flipping the remote round? Like I said, it's not the most elegant solution. I personally like using the smartphone app. I think that's really good because I can see what speed I'm at. This I have no way. I have to remember how many clicks I did and assume every click went through to the motor. I can't guarantee that. If I press this 9 times, does it go to speed 9? Who knows? Anyway, if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe. I post regularly, and don't forget to give this video a like and share it around if you think it's been useful. I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Thanks for watching, and here's a couple more videos I think you will enjoy.